First off, I just want to say, I think you're a kind of person who just doesn't give up ever. I heard your journey of making Invasion Planet Earth. And basically, in this episode, I want to inspire filmmakers listening. You were raising money and for this Invasion Planet Earth, and then you filmed a bunch of shots or scenes, and then again, you had to raise more money, and that was the process. So just tell me, like, was there any moment? Yeah, exactly. Like, did you want to give up at some point and be like, why am I doing this? You know?
No. The thing that you have to remember is I've had this passion to make a movie ever since I was a kid. I was 13, I think. I saw the original Star Wars and I was absolutely hooked. And it just took forever. I got into the film industry when I was 22. I became an editor. I learned the craft, which was very, very important to me. And it was back in the days on film when we actually cut on film. So I learned the old way. And we couldn't just go out with a phone and film things in those days. Yeah. You needed to do it properly. You needed a camera, which was expensive. You needed film stock. But and that passion, I tell you what, I love films. I love filmmaking. I'm in my 50s and it's no different now to when I was 15, 16. So prepare yourself to all your young fans. It doesn't go away, I'm afraid. But no. And you know, I've seen the alternative. You know, I worked in the industry for years, but I got my first film made in 1996, a film called Written in Blood. And it did really well, but I found it very difficult after that to get other things off the ground. And it's a pretty demoralizing place sometimes when you really want to, you know, get out there and make your film. But it's usually money. It's always money, actually. Money is always the thing that is a block for you. And the great thing about crowdfunding is if you just keep going at it and keep working at it, real money comes in. Because along the road, I had lots of conversations with people. Yeah, we'll give you 200 grand here. You get 500,000 for this, 20 million for that. And it never, for me, it's never come off. Never. And years and years and years of promises. So,
yeah, you have to do it small step, like, you know, small steps at a time.
Well, have you seen The Terminator? You know, the original Terminator movie? Arnie will not die. He just keeps going until he dissolves. And that's what I thought. I'm going to be like him. I'll just keep going until destiny takes me. Touch wood. Hopefully it won't for a while.
How's your family or friends? Like, do they think you're crazy or they understand completely?
Well, my wife's an artist. She's a really, really good artist. And she understands that creativity completely. She's got the bug as well. And, you know, She paints all day and I try and make films and do whatever. So, yeah, it works quite well. My daughters, they're kind of with me, you know, but they've got no choice, really. And my friends, you know, they seem to understand. A lot of them are filmmakers as well. So we've all got the creative disease.
Exactly. Know. That's good. So 900 extras showed up for the battle scene and you shot it in Birmingham, yeah. I think. So how was that moment for you? Like, it was surreal, or it was just like, okay, it's happening, or it was like mind blowing?
Well,
like, it had to be huge.
It was a bit, it wasn't quite what I expected. To be honest, the first thing for me was get permission to do it, first of all. And that was quite tricky. Now, the thing about Invasion Planet Earth, there's a big battle scene, crowds of thousands, tanks, soldiers. I didn't shoot it all in one block. I shot I shot the crowd scene first, where we just had, that's when the 900 people turned up. So it didn't have tanks, didn't have soldiers. And I arranged an evening, and Film Birmingham let me film right in centre. We closed off all the main roads into the centre, so we had the whole centre. And I'm not talking about the size of the West End in London here. It's a square and a couple of streets going off to it. So I had that, and I had that weeks in advance. And at the time, I think it was 2014, I was quite new to Twitter and Facebook. It was this new thing for me. And I just blasted an old school friend of mine. We just blasted out, come and be an extra, come and be an extra. And we did it for weeks and weeks and weeks and relentlessly. And I turned up on the day a few hours early and there was no one there. And we had cameras and cranes and lights. And I was thinking, oh, God, what have I done here? If there's like 12 people, it's going to look ridiculous. And and slowly but surely they came. And there's a shot, I've put it out. I mean, I can send it to you if you want, but there was I was at one side of the square, and all these people were over there, and I'd been talking to them through a loud hailer thing, and I didn't quite realise the scale of 900 people. And we got back, we got the camera, action, and they all ran towards camera, and it went on and on and on, and it was like, oh my god! And it was brilliant, and the people just. I planned it out very meticulously. You know, they start at that end of the street, we'll run down, we'll cover it from lots of angles, then they'll run from there to there. And so, and we blocked it out, lots of different camera people just in different positions covering it. And we did it, and they ran and they ran and they ran, and everybody was like, oh, my legs are killing me. But they were so high, they said it was the most exercise they'd ever had. But what was really cool was I said, right, imagine there's a spaceship chasing you, so you're running along, and you're looking back, and I want you to scream. Don't laugh, just scream in terror. And I think it was great therapy for a lot of these people. But the sound of 900 people screaming, it echoed through the whole city. And as the pubs finished, people were coming out. Now, what's going on? And they were joining in, and we were signing them up. We had released all the sign up, and they were running up and down the street. And there's one shot in the film, I mean, in the rushes, where the crowd goes by, and then the camera person follows the last few people, and there's 4 guys with like cans of beer kind of running along. Really funny. That was great. It was. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. I came away, and it looked amazing. It had been shot beautifully. The lighting was amazing. So. Yeah, it was great. Sorry, that was a really long answer. I don't do short answers. Sorry.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's cool. Actually, that's very good. And in terms of hours, like, or how long that took in total, that one scene?
Well,
I know it was shot in parts.
Yeah, ridiculous as it might sound, it took 4 years. It took me 4 years to shoot. Have you seen the film? I don't know if you've seen the battle scene. Yeah. Well, it took 4 years, that whole battle scene. The crowd scene, I shot. The thing is, I raised money. I knew I needed for my Kickstarter, I needed a bigger audience, hence the reason we had this crowd scene, and they all signed up the next day to be part of it. So that was the first reason for doing that initial crowd scene. And then I had to shoot a bit with our lead lady, Lucy Drive, her scene. So we did that. And then I raised a bit more money, and then we shot some more scenes. And then we cut the film. We shot all the whole film. And then I had that battle scene. It was looking really good, but I thought, we need the military. I really wanted the military, and I was thinking, how am I going to do this?
How did you get tank? I mean,
well, here's the thing. Okay, I do kind of corporate stuff, you know, for pay the bills videos and things. And I was filming this. Do you remember a few years ago? It was a celebration of 100 years, the end of the First World War. Mm-hmm. I was at this event, and this guy had some tanks in a field, and I just said, you haven't got any sort of modern tanks, have you? You know, would you? And he said, yeah, I've got 72 tanks. I was like, really? And I didn't believe it. Anyway, in this little country village, the little drive over this field, there's this warehouse full of tanks and helicopters, and like there were 50 helicopters, military helicopters lined up. And he was providing parts for the military, and, you know, he was sort of services, machinery and stuff. But so I had him. So then I went to the council and said, you know, I did that crowd scene a few years ago. Can we bring a few tanks in? And they said, tanks? What sort of tanks? And I said, they're roadworthy. They won't grind up the road. They're not like, you know, these really big, hefty 32-ton tanks. These are kind of military vehicles that are street-worthy. And they let me do it. So we got 4 tanks, an armored personnel carrier, a Jeep with a machine gun on the back. And we shot all these. And then, of course, the crowd had such a good time. Once I started mentioning it, loads of more people turned up. So that was a huge evening, that one. That was really big. We had the soldiers. We had 45 soldiers. And I just asked around, and all these groups of soldiers just came along. We had a bit of an issue with their guns, because they obviously couldn't have real guns. They had fake guns, but you can't just walk into town with a fake machine gun. So we had to, it was very, very strict how we did it. And we had to actually pay some armed policemen to turn up and manage the whole thing. Well, I didn't manage it, I managed it, but they just sort of, you know, just to be there in case there's any trouble. So, but once I put those scenes in with the crowd scenes and the other bits, I was like, wow, this is quite a scene, you know.
Oh yeah.
So it was really, really exciting. And you know, it didn't cost a fortune as well, as much as you might think it did. I paid everybody. I mean, the crew and the tanks. Now I didn't pay all the extras, but so we did it on a very low budget.
I think a lot of people want to have this experience because it's a lot of fun, like just running around screaming and being part of this, and it's just like a huge production and feeling like you brought a piece of Hollywood into the UK, So I think everybody will want to be part of it if they hear about it. And so of Infinite Worlds, I think you're going to do a scene which you require a lot of people as well, right?
Yes.
So everybody who supports the film or anybody else can join you, right?
Yeah. You know what? It's all about money, I'm afraid. I'm trying to raise the money for the film. But what I found on the last one was by looking after all those people that chipped in, and, they'll know, I wrote to them, not every week, but I wrote to them a lot and kept them updated. And a lot of them got really excited about the whole journey, and a lot of them kept chipping into the campaigns. But then we had the screenings and the premieres, and people came, and that when the film came out, they bought a DVD and photographed it in the shop. So it was good for us, and it was great for them. So it was a really nice sort of relationship between me and the audience, really. And I tried to get as many people in it as possible. If you look for the film, there's loads of crowd scenes, and or just where there's lots of extras. And I want to sort of do the same this time. I mean, to be honest, I'd really like someone just to come along and fund it, if anyone's listening, but wouldn't we all? But I'm quite sort of realistic, and I thought, well, I'll do the same again, get the thing going, raise a bit of money, start shooting it, and we'll have this scene. I'm not quite sure where we're going to shoot it yet, but it'll be an inside scene, and it won't be running and screaming. It's a slightly different film, this one. Mm-hmm. So as soon as I can get that organised, then we'll do it. It should be good. It should be really good.
I'm looking forward. And
yes, and you bought your mug, so you'll be on the list.
Yes, I'm on the list. If you want the mug,
you can do a video. You better do one of your videos live from the set.
Hell yeah! So everybody can go and buy it. And I want to ask about the whole marketing behind it, because all these designs, they're beautiful. The movie poster and the website it just looks so good. I bought these in 2 minutes after I visited the website, because I'm like, okay, this is a real deal, So
fabulous.
No, seriously. And do you have a huge marketing team for that, or how do you pull this off together?
Yeah, it's huge marketing. No, I know what because when you're really passionate about something, I just get on with it. Now, I didn't do the artwork, but the guys that did the artwork for Invasion Planet Earth, which is there's that one. There's in fact, it's behind you, over your shoulder. Mm-hmm. They did a fantastic job on Invasion. So I raised a little bit of money initially of Infinite Worlds, and I asked them would they do me a piece of artwork, which they did, and that's what I've been using basically. I turned it into a mug, and we've got little posters, and I'm trying to do as much as I can with it. But as I've gone along and I've raised money, we're designing the film, and on the website you'll see a lot of our set designs, and I've had some concept work done, and we've had these with Invasion Planet Earth. We had CGI spaceships, but in this one I wanted to do physical models. I wanted they just felt a little bit stuck on, and I did everything to try and not make them look stuck on, but I still, when I look at them, they look stuck on. So I've gone for proper models. So I've hired an old model maker with the crowdfunding money, and he's built 4 ships, and these are big ships. These are 3 feet long. I've got them in my garage. It's crazy. And he's doing 2 more. So I've got 2 more coming in next week, and I've started the first one. We've shot a lot of it, but we've also had it scanned. So I put it into Unreal Engine and been having it flying through asteroids, and it's looking amazing. I'm so excited about it. But because they're real models, it just looks fab. Anyway, you were talking about marketing, and I went up on one. So as you go along, you collect a lot of these things. I'm always photographing. When we were filming the first model on a big rostrum camera. I just photographed it like crazy, and then they pop up, on the website and when I'm marketing. And I try and tweet, 2 or 3 times a day on Facebook, and I'm using LinkedIn as well. I don't do Instagram. I've got actually saying I've got Instagram, but it's just one too many, and I don't do TikTok or anything like that. I'm too old for that. But I think it's just keep telling people, and and like people like yourself get excited about it and jump on board, and it's just brilliant. And then you start talking about it, and that kind of works for me. And I'll try and make sure that everybody that chips in can come and be part of it in some way. Or at least they'll get the offer to come and be an extra or whatever. So, even come to the screening, come to a premiere or whatever,
Exactly. That passion, when I see a really passionate person who actually does a lot of hard work, to really realize his dream, it's just inspirational to me as well. And so I heard that you you want to build spaceship sets in the old IKEA building. Is it happening?
Yeah. Yes. Well, you're in London, aren't you? You're in London. Yeah,
yes,
up here in Coventry. I live in the Midlands. Up here in Coventry, we have an old IKEA building that 3 years ago, before the pandemic, they just left. It wasn't working. They'd left it, and it's a big proper IKEA building. So it's empty. Now they are they're trying to work out what to do with it, this building that's sitting there empty. And they've got various plans, but they are trying to use it as a film studio. And I think what they want is Disney or Netflix, nice big companies come in and fund it. I don't know how they're doing on that front, but I said, well, could you squeeze me in the bottom corner? I don't need them. It's, so we're in talks about that at the moment. And it's looking quite good, but you're dealing with councils. It's very difficult to get a decision. So I'm playing the game at the moment, the waiting game. But it's if not, I'll find somewhere else to do it. But we do need to find a space to build our sets in, and we're shooting a bit in May, a big chunk in May. But then after that, we're going to be building our sets, hopefully in IKEA. I hope so, because it's really convenient for me and for the actors. They can jump on a train from London, be up in an hour and 10 minutes. So it's really, it's really good.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And so my next question is the writing process. Okay.
Yes.
And also your advice on that, because when you have this idea, and obviously it's in space, or it's a film about like a sci-fi. So when you write a screenplay, do you at the same time think about budget, or you just let your imagination run and then you figure out how to make it happen?
Well, that's a really good question. I think if I was just a writer, I would probably just write whatever, but because I know I'm going to be making it, I always try and think, how would I be able to do this? Mm-hmm. But I try not to limit myself. As far as I'm concerned, it's your imagination. So you've got to let it kind of run. And I just, I would say, a sensible advice. If you're an independent filmmaker and you want to make a film, go as big as you think you can go. One of the things I learned on Invasion and on my first film was, when it comes to locations, use what's local to you. Like at the beginning of Invasion Planet Earth, the kids run towards this lovely old castle. And that's just down the road for us. That's Kenilworth Castle, which isn't that far away. And I just thought, well, the Americans are going to love that. And as I've discovered, the Japanese love it as well. And so I was trying to think of all these things. And originally, when I thought Birmingham, when I saw the streets of Birmingham, it's like London. I thought, I've got to shoot. I really want to shoot in Birmingham. And then there's a graveyard that was absolutely beautiful on the hill, which I'd driven past for years. And I eventually went in there and asked them if we could film. And so I used all those things. But when it came to special effects, being an editor and stupidly ambitious, I thought I could do that. I could. And when it came down to it, I didn't do all the effects, but I did the sort of dodgy ones. I was very lucky. I got some good friends that are very good at, but they can't just devote their lives to my film, so they would do one or two shots, the really big, impressive shots they did, and then I ended up doing a lot of else. And I had a few people helping me as well, but that was hard work, and the effects on that film was hard. So I would say just don't limit your imagination and your scale, but just think logically, how can I actually do this? And the other thing about writing, what I've realized over the years, is everybody everybody knows what's best. Everybody will know you. Everybody will give you advice. And at the end of the day, you've got to decide what's right for you. You know, we can read the books. If you're sending a script to Hollywood, then you've got to have it formatted in a Hollywood, you know, it's got to be done properly. If you're sending it to famous actors, again, it's got to be done properly. So it's getting the balance between getting it right and professional, but also at the level that you know you can do it at. If that's helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
And everybody, nobody knows your world better than you do. Whatever they say, that's you know, you want if somebody reads your script and wants to help you, they need to say what you need as a writer needs to look for is somebody to say, look, that bit on page 8, I didn't quite understand that, and would she really do that? Because what you don't want is, this is rubbish. I didn't get it. It was good. The ending was bad. Oh, you need to, you know. That's all I can say. And script writing is hard. It's the hardest part, but it's, you know, it is the hardest part. Everyone says.
So how long did it take to write Of Infinite Worlds screenplay?
Right. Okay. I've got a confession to make here. There isn't one. There's 2. There's part 1 and part 2. Okay. So and it's a bit of a weird one. Part 2 came first, and then I'd written it, which took me about 2 months to get the first draft done. And then the last 2 years, I think I'm on draft 11. I keep rewriting it and just tweaking it. And, I can't get that, but I can get this. So, you know, we sort of adjusted to fit what we've got. The second one took me which was actually part 1, which is took me about 4 weeks to write, to get it, the first draft done. And then, I don't know, I've just finished another draft. I'm on draft 4 now, so it's about a year. There's no easy way, I'm afraid. There's no easy way. If you want to make a film and be a film director, be a filmmaker, write your own scripts, read writing screenplays that sell, read The Hero's Journey, all those fabulous books and videos out there. But at the end of the day, you've got to write. So,
and with Invasion Planet Earth, like, Did you have to lose some scenes because of not having enough time, or maybe it didn't work in the film? So did you give up any scenes that, you know, it was
I did.
hard?
You know, the script went through because it took me so long to make. We rewrote, and it got a little bit messy. And then back in 2012, I scrapped it and started again. What was this film about? And I rewrote the thing, but that was the version we made. What we did, there was quite a lot. There's a scene in the film where they go down, he flies across the ocean, goes into the mothership, and there's loads of, and it's all shot on green screen. And this went on for quite a bit, this sequence. And we shot it all, and the actors were really good. And as I was putting it together, the CGI for that was just taking forever. And I really had to have a talk to myself and say, look, cut some of this stuff out. It's not work. You don't need it all. It's too long. As much as I love it, I've got to be brutal and say, I don't need it. And so we chopped it down. So quite a lot of that went. And that was quite a lot of the mystical stuff. And so that went. And a lot of the scenes, I shot 3 or 4 scenes that we didn't use in the final film. One I was a bit sad about, but I thought, the audience kind of knows that. And it was telling the audience what they already should know. So, you know, I had to be a bit hard on myself, but I think it was worth it in the end. Yeah. There is a special edition with it back in, actually.
Good. On a weird question, but on a scale from 1 to 10, how difficult is being a filmmaker as a career, in your opinion?
It's a 9. It is quite hard.
People might think like, you know, we're just having fun or something, like, you know, it's totally different.
You know, I've seen all your videos. Talk about inspiring. I've seen how many videos you've done on your website. Well done for that. Oh, sorry, not your website, on your YouTube page.
Thank you.
You know, what people see when they turn up on set, they go, oh, this is great. This is great fun. What they don't realize is it's taken months and months, possibly even years, to get to that stage. And, you know, making a movie is literally... if you collate the days together, it's, I don't know, 40 days, 30, 40 days, depends on how complicated it is. But it's getting there that's the hard bit. And if you could, I was thinking, if I could be a full-time director just making movies it would be great. But it's sadly that's the hard part about it. Is my wife's an artist. If she fancies painting a picture, she'll get a canvas and she'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I'm not, there's a bit more work to it than that, but it's a bit more instant. Whereas making a film, it's a bit, you have to really plan it. You've got to write the thing first of all, then you've got to find locations, get the actors, get them in, shoot it, the whole crew, edit it, do the special effects, whatever, get the music rendered, and then if you're perfect and you want to make money out of it, then you've got to go through the whole distribution rigmarole, which is a challenge as well. So, sorry, I just popped my earphones out there.
And basically, we're coming almost to an end. I just wanted to know if you have ideas in your head for casting of your new film.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have to be a bit careful with casting. When you're a filmmaker and you put stuff online that you're making a film, you get a lot of actors coming to you, and I always try and be polite and courteous and respond, but it's difficult when I'm getting 15, 20 people a day. It kind of fuzzes the water. Occasionally, someone will come along and you think, "Oh, they're right for that part." But when you've only got, in the first film, we've got about 8 cast members we need. I want to really focus on that and not have any sort of too many influences. And the thing is, and this is a really sad fact about the film industry, is it really helps if you've got 1 or 2 famous names, or just names, people that have worked on other productions. So, because, at the end of the day, it does have to be a business as well. Because all right, I didn't crowdfund Invasion Planet Earth completely. I crowdfunded about a quarter of it. The rest of it was private investment. So, that was hundreds of thousands of pounds to get all that done. So I've got to be responsible, make sure I get that money back. And if by having somebody in it that's been in a couple of other films, Taiwan might buy it, you know what I mean? Or it might sell in Japan, or it's a bit of a hard fact of life. So, and so I understand it's very frustrating for an actor that is really talented and wants a break. And it's like, why am I not getting the opportunities? My advice to them is make your own stuff. Control your own destiny. Write a film with you in the lead. Find some film friends. You've got to make friends. Someone with a camera, somebody with a microphone, and shoot the film and learn how to edit. We can edit with Premiere Pro, whatever you decide to use. It's very, very straightforward. You just have to learn it. But I'm in my 50s and I've just been learning Unreal Engine, which is just which is huge for me. But you've just got to do it. And we've got all this lovely technology now. Back when I started, you just couldn't do it. You needed 35mm or 16mm film. You needed cameras, and it was expensive. Now you can do it on your phone if you really, really want to. You can get in festivals. You can get it seen. You can get it sold. You can get fame, fortune. Well, I don't know about fortune, but you can start cutting a career for yourself. So I'm really serious about that. To anyone that's got that passion to do it, don't wait around for the phone to ring. Get on, just get out and make your film, and don't let anything stop you.